Well, Ross, here we are, another new location for us, Bevvy boys on tour. Take whatever it is, but we haven't gone too far. We're still in our hometown of Edinburgh, but we've taken a giant leap from whiskey and we're now in the world of rum.
Yeah, so this is one of my local bars with the fantastic bar owner Stevie, good friend of mine as well, and he's been educating me recently, although I would say I still need a lot of education. So we are in Ruma, which is Edinburgh's only specialist rum bar. So as a whiskey drinker, you know, I'm working my way into it. I'm trying to broaden my horizons. But you're a rum drinker. Stevie, you're obviously a rum drinker as well. So it's nice for Edinburgh to have a venue like that.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, Stevie, you'll go into this, I'm sure, but there's not a massive jump in some situations from whiskey to rum. A lot of the time it's, you know, the concept of distilleries and vintages and cask types and age statements. Some of that can be transferred over to rum as well. So it's something I got into a few years ago. There's still a lot of styles of rum I struggle with and I don't love too much, but I think as long as you go into it with an open mind and keen to try new flavours, it can be fantastic.
This is amazing for Edinburgh to have. I've been here before and had one of your rum flights, which obviously is something you're offering, and so what I've been learning from both of you over the last year or so is loads of different regions for rum, lots of different styles, some really funky stuff, and actually I learned that lots of the spiced kind of big brands actually aren't really rums, and there's all this legality around it as well. How did the bar come about, Stevie? How did
tell
this
us your
kind
story,
of, what
Stevie.
happened here?
Yeah, so I was always a rum drinker, and the main reason for that was I didn't like whiskey because I had a Lefroy gone malt of the month when I was 17. Nobody told me what it was, and I thought I was going to die.
Classic.
So I never
Classic
had
thing,
another whiskey, for about 10 years.
Yeah, heard that story.
Yeah, but then, like you're saying, I started off drinking a lot of the commercially available, really sugary rums that were spiced but weren't actually rums for. But that's a whole
other deep conversation, isn't it?
And then I was working in a rum bar in Australia, and he kind of basically told them what I drank, and he says, we'll beat that out of you, essentially. And he started to show me there was a lot more to rum. So the kind of common misconception with rum is that it's always sweet or it's always heavily sugared. Just I think because it comes from sugar cane, people are like, oh, it's inherently going to be sweet, but as you know, like new make's never any sweet, so it's pretty much the exact same production style as whiskey. It's just how it's treated, how it's aged and things.
We've been we've actually done a couple of rum videos on the channel already, kind of testing, going head to head with some of the bigger brands. I've always been more comfortable with rum cocktails. I've always been someone who's drinking rum in bars and hotels, but generally in a mixed drink. Whereas you've got a selection of rum back home, you'll kind of go through them.
Yeah, I kind of was introduced quite early to Foursquare, which seems to be kind of the rum for whiskey drinkers. And as I was saying about that similar language of cask types and vintages, they kind of stick to that quite well. I think some people try and draw parallels between whiskey distilleries and rum distilleries, which sometimes is helpful, sometimes it's not. For me, Foursquare is kind of like Springbank in that they do everything as it should be. They don't muck around, they don't put colourings, they don't put flavourings.
I've learned something new there, and that's a good comparison for me to understand. How's it been in Edinburgh with people trying to understand? How have people taken to the bar?
So yeah, that's one of the things with all the rums we have in back bar. So we've got about 160 odd at the moment. We need to do another count.
That's amazing.
But that's one of the things that we look for is that rum that's made in the right way. So it's aged properly, it's produced properly, especially with like the Scottish rums that we do a lot of. We need to make sure it's distilled in Scotland. It's not something that's been shipped over from the Caribbean, sat next to a case of whiskey for a month and been like it's Scottish. But we take great pride in making sure that all the rums are properly made and sourced and everything like that as well.
Yeah, because again, it's a bit like people say rum's a bit like the Wild West. Like there's not, compared with all the legislation and rules for particularly Scotch whiskey, you can call pretty much anything rum. And I think that's maybe holding it back a little bit in terms of people fully getting, jumping in with both feet, because they look at the label, they don't really know what they're getting unless the producer's totally transparent.
Yeah, I think we were expecting more of the like, oh, do you have this rum or do you have this rum? But a lot of people are a lot more open to trying new ones, and when they try something, or they'll come in asking for something really sugared and sweet, and then they leave having 3 Clarans and some agricoles. So
really
it's a total leap from where they were. So that's been a nice surprise. And then we've also had the kind of rum heads coming in and finding stuff that they like, and they've got the list online, so they've seen that.
And you're going to make a cocktail for us today. So what are we going to go for?
So we're going to make our take on an El Presidente. So really classic rum cocktail from Cuba. It's first seen in the kind of early 1900s. But when Jamie and I were talking about creating a bar, we were actually in Germany for the football years ago, sat in a really nice wee rum bar. And we were kind of saying how there wasn't anything like this in Scotland. If you wanted a whiskey, you could go to a really nice whiskey bar and you get all the chat about it, but you can also have a nice relaxing cocktail or a nice relaxing pint. But there wasn't anything like that in Scotland for rum. And obviously we wanted to champion, as I said, all the really amazing Scottish rums that there were. So it's our Scottish take on an El Presidente.
Cool.
So we first did this, or Jamie first did this for the Scottish Rum Festival last year. That was out at Edinburgh Park. But we're working with Ninefold, which is a distillery that we absolutely love. Kit's making absolutely amazing rum down in Dumfries and Galloway. Actually had a good night at the Rum Awards recently. So we're going to work with that, and then we're going to use some Valentian, some Scottish vermouth as well, or Scottish Italian vermouth. Some Lucky Orange. I don't have a proper bottle for that at the moment, but it's really class orange liqueur made in Edinburgh from the guys at Mothership. And then we've got some pineapple infused dry vermouth as well.
That's awesome.
And a homemade strawberry grenadine.
Do you know, when I come into a bar, Stevie, and I see label bottles like that, I know there's
there's
been thought behind it. He's really curated the menu. I can't wait to try it.
Yeah. The original drink was like original parts rum and vermouth and a bit of grenadine, but it's kind of evolved and we've kind of thought we'll put a bit of curacao in there as well. So all products that you can get made in or around Edinburgh, so we thought it was originally called the El First Ministerial, but so that might be a bit divisive as well. So. And there we are, gents. This is our Scottish take on an El Presidente, available at Ruma all the time.
It looks brilliant.
It's fun.
And so I'm looking forward to this because, again, this is an opportunity for me to bridge my gap of enjoying rum. And it'll be interesting to get your reaction because you are a hardcore rum drinker. I would describe you as a hardcore rum drinker.
I do like a rum cocktail as well.
Yeah, it looks brilliant, doesn't it?
It looks proper class. For you as obviously a rum bar owner and a proper rum enthusiast, cocktail, something that you think will always want to be part of that rum scene. The whole rum is fun, rum is, you know, whatever you want it to be.
So normally when rum bars have opened in Scotland in the past, they've focused on the tiki route and it's all been cocktails, but they've all been full of fruit juice, full of grenadine.
I'm familiar with that, for sure.
Tiki's always a bit tacky.
Exactly, and that's how I thought rum cocktails were supposed to be as well when I was a lot younger. But we wanted to just show that you can use rum and you can like elevate it and use it in more classic cocktails.
And still champion the flavour of the rum, because I drank that there and I really enjoy it, but I enjoy it also because I can taste the rum. I'm not just tasting, you're right, loads of pineapple juice and sugar and
I mean, there are little nods on the menu to tiki, like for example, it's like pineapple infused vermouth, and we used to have a Saturn on there, which was like a kind of tea style drink, but there's little nods to it, but we didn't want to go down that like tiki route. We wanted to show that we've got like a really brilliant old fashioned on, we've got a really good take on a Negroni and some of the more kind of original ones as well.
Some classics.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. What an amazing venue for people that want to come learn about rum or continue their journey in rum. Thanks for the cocktail, Stevie. Thanks for hosting us. Any last thoughts, Laurie?
It's just an amazing place, and I think it's a bit like what we do with the app. It's just all about being engaging and welcoming, talking to people, see what they want to do. But amazing place, amazing cocktail.
Something different for Edinburgh. Please come down, see what Ruma's all about.
Yeah,
thanks for coming, boys.
Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bevvy content. We want to hear what you think, your best whiskey experiences, the whiskies you want us to try. It's a really exciting journey we're on, so make sure to join us. Download the Bevvy app on Google Play and App Store to keep track of your whiskey journey, connect with your whiskey friends, keep track of your favourites, anything you could ever want to do with whiskey, all in one place. It's the definitive whiskey companion.